Hello, Victor.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody?
I'm doing good, Victor. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How's your week been going?
Um, I
Just
guess it's
so so?
kind of slow. I guess doing some work.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
kind of when you say slow, what do you think the cause of
Hello, Victor.
good morning, good morning. How is everybody? Hold on one second. There we go. So when you say slow, what do you think is the cause of that? Do you have leads?
Uh, well, it's lower than the previous week
Oh,
with
got it.
getting answers. But yeah, I still keep my flow.
Okay.
Right now we are mostly concentrated into doing for rent by owners.
Right.
And we are also me as a team we are doing what is called to I make the calls, get the leads, gather as much information. Someone
So you're
else
doing the prequal?
yeah, exactly, and someone else, my team member, Mr. Brett, he will do the presentations. So for today we want to practice into how to present offers just to
Okay.
get a little refreshment. It always helps.
Okay. Um, so you want to do some role playing today?
Yeah, me and Mr. Bread, you, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let's see, 27 on Mac. Just I want to give people a little bit of time to get in, and then I'll kind of, do the little intro, and then we can start doing some real role playing. I appreciate you guys coming in with that attitude too, because that's a lot of times, like last week, we had a really good call, but it wasn't as much role playing as this is actually designed to be, right? This is supposed to be a role play session where we can actually work on some of the feedback we get, some of the objections that we get, and stuff like that. So, speaking of objections, I'm gonna share my screen real quick and give some people some time to get in.
Okay.
Um, Share my screen.
The
And so we're gonna talk about the most common objections. Let me know when you can see my screen.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So what we found over time is that there are basically just the same objections will come up over and over and over again, right? So what we can do is we'll go through some of these objections that people have, and we'll just read them. And when we do the role play, you'll probably find that you're going to run across pretty much the same objections. Well, whoever you've been talking to on the phone, that's probably some of the stuff that you've heard. And if you don't have a response to it, or if you see it sometimes as a real objection, because a lot of times it shows up like an objection, but it's not really an objection.
Yeah, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost, right? It's just to deflect, and it's just a lot of times they're already always way of being. In other words, that's just how they respond to questions. That's just how they are when they get phone calls from salespeople. That's just their reaction to things whenever they're in a certain environment, like it's autopilot, right? So you have to get past some of that stuff and really kind of get to the core of it. So a lot of what we do is we try to put them off. We use pattern interrupts that take them away from just, oh, I just received another phone call from a salesperson who's going to try to lowball me on my property, because they get a lot of those calls. As soon as it goes up and becomes any kind of public, well, we pounce, we being real estate investors all over the country, right? So they're going to get some calls as soon as they put it out there, they're going to get some calls. And some of them are pissed because they have a certain expectation of what the call should be like. And they're almost never like that, right? Like they want somebody to call and say, yeah, I want your house and I'll pay you full price and I'll give you all, a matter of fact, I'll pay all the closing costs for you. Can I buy it today? Right? It's like, yeah, well, not really. So, Moises, why don't we do this, a few of these questions and answers together. And all you're going to do is just read the response. So I'm going to
Sure.
read the question and then you're going to just read the answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, um, how did you get my information?
Great question. We actually receive your information through the public records. When you own a property, your information is public.
Okay. Okay. Now, shouldn't you know my property address already then?
Uh, I'm sure you understand that we send thousands of postcards and messages each month. So without you providing the property address so that we can search it in our database, it would be impossible for us to know the property address right away. So what was the property address again?
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to do it again and pretend like you're actually on the phone with somebody, and sort of make it a little conversational for yourself. Because I know the first time you're just kind of reading it, but imagine that you were actually, on the phone with somebody and you were reading it.
Okay, using the same words.
Yes, yes. Use it, or if you want, use the same words as close as you possibly can, but make it your own.
Victor,
Okay.
sorry, my voice. Real quick, with this kind of information, is there a way to get a copy I can print?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely, yeah.
because I missed that one that last, was it 2 calls ago? I was writing it all down and I don't have a pen that works right now. So I want to focus on the actual call
Okay, okay.
without writing. If I can get a copy, that'd be great.
Okay,
Sorry.
so what I can do is I'll start putting all of these in a shared folder,
Awesome. Awesome.
and then I'll just give you the link to the shared folder, and you can go in and you can download everything. Okay.
That works.
All right. So, shouldn't you know my property address already, Moises?
Uh, I'm sure you understand that we send thousands of postcards each month. So without you providing the address so that we can search it in our database, it just would be impossible for us to know the property address right away. What was the property address again?
Okay. Um, I don't want to sell, or you know what? No, I'm not ready to sell.
Okay. Well, I do thank you for letting me know, letting us know. I'm sure you may be ready to sell maybe later in the future. Would you mind if we can stay in touch and send you some postcards? See how we doing?
You definitely want to request that get their permission for the call. Now,
Oh,
yeah, the reason why
okay.
that's important, like in my system, it actually asks you if you have permission to call these people.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so whenever you have the opportunity, ask for permission to call or text them,
Sure.
right? So that you have a verbal okay to communicate with them, because they might get funny style and start reporting you and stuff.
Okay.
Um, do not contact me again.
Um, I can appreciate. Thanks. We apologize for the trouble. Would you mind providing us with your name and property address so we can remove it from our database?
Yep, and that's basically that. If somebody decides that they don't want to participate in any communications with you, legally, you just have to take them off. And most systems, regardless of what you're using, if you're using just a spreadsheet type scenario or whatever, figure out a way to either color code it or do something that allows you to take them off of your list, because you don't want them, hassling you and stuff later on, or reporting you, or, doing anything to throw a wrench in your business. Not willing to take that offer? Yeah, I'm not willing to take that offer.
Not willing to take that offer. I appreciate your feedback. Please understand that I based the offer and the information you given me. Let me ask you, how close can you come to the offer amount? Like, what's the least that you'll take so we can help you sell your property?
That's a really good question because typically our offer is going to be well below market and well below their expectations. So this is a response that you'll get oftentimes, like, are you kidding me? I'm not, that's way too low, et cetera, et cetera. And instead of just shutting them down or, taking attitude, you use it as an opportunity to try to get some more information from them to see if there's any more options.
Throw it back on them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, put it back on them.
Exactly.
Exactly. I don't want to provide mortgage information.
I can appreciate this type of information is very personal. It's the only reason I'm asking you for this information is that I can type, offer to present you.
So I can know.
Exactly. Without this information, I'm limiting the offer's options. So would you mind providing this information?
Okay, so that's a big deal. A lot of people, especially on the first phone call, you haven't bonded or connected. They don't really want to give you their information. And so another response to this is, okay, that makes absolute sense. Maybe you could just tell me how much it would take to cover, your principal, interest, tax, and insurance payment. What would that number be? 900, 1,000, whatever that amount is. And then you can get the details, the specifics later. But you need something in order to create an offer, some sort of, whether it be a lease option or whether it be a subject to, whatever it is, you need to know what that number is.
Yeah, in order to work.
Yeah, because without it, it's difficult to put together a deal. Or sometimes what will happen is you'll have a conversation with them, you'll make an offer, and then just wait for them to say that doesn't cover my expenses. Because they'll say that. Like, I'll often say something like, well, if I could give you $600 a month, $600 a month, are you kidding? That doesn't even cover my expenses. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. What would that number be? Same response, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so now you know. I'm not interested in creative options, Moises.
Okay, I can appreciate that. The only reason I asked that question is because we can typically pay a little more money than we can work a created offer. The reason for this is because we're not trying up a lot of capital on these type of deals. So what we do is pass those savings right on the seller. Are you sure you're not interested in creative option?
So, put it back again, you're going back with the question. If you notice, most of these responses end with the question mark. So the whole concept is to continue to ask questions. Now, today we're going to be working a little bit on the role play. We teach what is called the GUTS method, and the GUTS method has a lot of nuance to it. One of the nuance to it is being the reluctant buyer. And so today, we'll do some role play right now, and you'll see what I mean when I say the reluctant buyer. Okay, matter of fact, if you want, let's go ahead and before we go there, I'm gonna share my screen again, and I think this is the slide that Brett was talking about. Let me change what I'm showing you.
Wow, you got 18 people here. Very good. Awesome. I love it, man. Good stuff. We're going to learn something today, right?
Yeah, last week we ended up something like 26. Yeah, it's getting better. People are participating.
Looks like the Brady Bunch.
It does, right? That's a great call. That's exactly what it looks like.
Victor, you're giving Claude some competition.
Not even.
Yeah.
Like hundreds. Yeah, I'm in another group, and they're regularly like at 150 or something like that. It's like ridiculous. Can you guys see the mastering the phone?
The
Yes,
less
we
people in
can.
here, hey, the less people in here, the less secrets are out.
That's right. That's right. How you guys are on the screen share? Can you see the yeah, okay, great.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
so again, I just want to do this real quick. I know most of you guys, you've been here before and you know what we do. This is always just a great something to have in front of you whenever you're making your phone calls, especially, and for me, the way I use it is if I'm tired, because you know how sometimes like there are times when I'm on the phone and it's just like I'm popping, I'm energetic, I have all the answers, my brain is on flow, everything that I'm think about comes to me quickly. And then there's the other days. And in the other days, it's just like I have to have some prompts. I have to try to remember where it is that I'm going with this conversation, because it's either that or not make phone calls, right? So this is the ultimate cheat sheet in terms of that. The keys on this sheet are simple. Deals are made at 8, 9, and 10. Period. If you have somebody on the phone and they are not an 8, 9, or 10, you are going to have a real difficult time moving them to a closing conversation and being able to get an agreement signed. Okay, so the whole thrust, the whole aim of this, everything else on this sheet is to get somebody to an 8, 9, or 10. Other than that, you're dead in the water, basically. Or you're going to qualify them to know whether or not you actually can move them to an 8, 9, or 10. And if you can't, bye. Okay, because you can't afford to give them your energy like that. So it operates under 3 rules. Always set the agenda. You have 3 minutes to qualify or disqualify the prospect, and you must fire an unqualified prospect if you recognize that they're not moving anywhere, they have no motivation, they're not inspired, they don't have any issues. I always try to imagine that someone is, you remember the old cartoons where they would have the woman, she'd be not always the woman, but usually it's the pretty girl tied to the track, and then the hero has to come and save her before the train runs her over, right? So in my thinking, the proverbial train is the problem that these people have to resolve. Otherwise, there's going to be some kind of issue. So, or they're going to get run over. If in fact you can't create or have them see that there's a problem like that, it's hard to move them to an 8, 9, or 10. Either they have to recognize it up front, or you've got to point it out to them. Does that make sense?
So what you're saying is you got, yeah, totally. Yep.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, so what you're saying is basically create a need, exasperate a need, and find a need. Is that kind of like what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. So we operate on finding either their need or their greed.
Right. Yeah.
And human beings operate in those 2 ways, right? We either want it because we want it, or we have to have it because we absolutely need it. So you have to identify those, and you can close on either one of those motivations. So what we do first is we set the agenda. We ask qualifying questions, and then we wrap it up with a close. And here's the process right here. So Moises came on this morning and said that he wanted to do some role play. Now, Moises, did you want to do the role play with me, or did you want to do it with Brett? How do you guys want to work this out?
I guess we can
Let's
try.
go with you, the expert.
Exactly.
Okay, so
And then we can do both. I mean, I'm game. I'm down to make money.
We got 2 hours. We got time to do both of you guys. So Moises, you want to play the buyer or the seller? And do you want me to leave this agenda up on the screen?
Yeah, leave it there.
Yeah, leave it up.
Okay. So Moises, you want to be the buyer or the seller?
I'll be the buyer.
The homeowner? I couldn't hear you.
Buyer.
All right, he's be buyer.
Oh, you're going to be the buyer? Okay, so I'll be the homeowner?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, ring, ring. You're
Hello.
calling me.
I'm looking for Victor.
This is Victor.
Mr. Victor, how are you, sir? This is Moises calling you about the house on 123 Main Street.
Okay.
Just wanted to, I was looking at it online and, I can, wanted to ask you some questions about the house. You can ask me some questions if we're in the same page, or you can always tell me no.
Okay.
So, looking at the house.
Off the role play for a second.
Yeah.
Long pauses could be the death of you. So you want to keep the conversation going. If long pauses in a conversation, a sales conversation, imply that you don't know what the hell you're doing. So we always got to remember, we're talking about somebody's house here. So they have an attachment to it that's over and above what they have to anything else. Their car, second to their kids, probably they don't have an attachment greater than that. So you always want to make sure that you're confident in your delivery. And try to avoid pauses as much as you can.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared to see what kind of lead I wanted to use it as pretend it's for rent by owners.
Well, you don't have to make that, and that's a great point. I'm glad you really brought that up, because you don't have to make that decision up front. The decision is going to be made out of your questions.
Okay.
Right? Because when you first call, even though you might have called a for sale by owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know their situation. They might have just put an ad up to see what they can get and how quickly they can get it. But you don't have enough information at this point now to really design anything. And that's why you're going to ask the questions. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need to predetermine what your setup is going to be. And if at any point you say, I'm stuck here, just let me know and we'll walk you through it.
Okay.
Hey Victor, can I just ask you, can I just kind of like, I want Mose to keep doing, can I just kind of like interject a little bit as far as, can you and I just do a quick little role play? Because I think that when we actually, that first 10 seconds, 5 seconds is huge. Do you mind if we just do a quick little role play? And then I'll let that go to what I think Claude's been teaching us. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it, but I know exactly where you're going with that, because I was gonna break that down too.
So you do that then. Okay. Yeah.
Because I know exactly where you're going with that thought process and where so I kind of want to let him finish this, and then we can dissect it, and if you and I can come in at that point. Is that cool for you?
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah. Awesome.
So I see exactly. I know where you're going with that.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you do.
Okay, Moises. Okay, so let's go back and Moises, don't feel any pressure or anything like that, man. You're doing fantastic, and trust me, everybody appreciates the fact that you're willing to step out on the thin branches and do this with and for us. Okay, so don't feel apprehensive or self-conscious about anything.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Okay. So let's go back to I'll ask you some questions. You can ask me some questions, and if it's a match, we can move forward. If not, let's go back to that. Okay.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah, or at least where you start asking me some questions, where you start to set the agenda. So right now, as part of this call, you're at the agenda.
Yeah, I lit the agenda already.
Okay, so if you want, just look at this and follow this process. Create a roadmap. This is what's going to happen on this call. Get permission to ask the questions, and then give them permission to fire you if it doesn't work out that. If you don't come to a meeting of the minds.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you had this property for?
I've owned it for 12 years now.
12 years. That's a while.
Yeah, it's home.
That's home. How come you want to move now? Why?
I want to be closer to my kids.
To your kids? Where your kids at?
They're down in they're over in Phoenix.
Phoenix? You say Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Okay, that's a nice place. Um, so in those 12 years, have you done any kind of remodels or updates
Um,
to the house?
I mean, I've kept it nice and clean, but I can't really say that we've done a whole lot of remodeling and stuff. I did change the carpets a couple of years ago, but we just make sure that it's in good condition, if that's your question.
Okay. So I was looking to offer you a cash offer for
Okay,
how much
so
you
let's stay on the agenda
stay
and
on the.
and give them permission, because this is a real key right here, number 3. That's a real key, because it gives them a certain space that allows them to feel like, okay, I'm still in control of this conversation. It has a real impact on moving forward the way that they relate to you.
Okay. So someone else wanna help me?
Hey, Victor, why don't I just step in a little bit? Do you mind if let's just do the agenda
Yeah.
quickly? Then I'll take
You
it back.
because you step in here because you itching.
I'm learning this stuff, man.
I got
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see
All right.
that.
Oh, good,
Okay.
man.
So okay.
I'm gonna
So
be the buyer. I'll be the buyer. You be the seller. Okay. So
you're going to be the buyer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just
I'm
want
gonna,
to. Okay.
I'm gonna buy it. Yeah. I want you to sell it. Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna
Okay.
sell your house to me.
Okay. All right.
Ring ring. Ring,
Hello.
Hi. Yeah. Hi. My name's Steve. You still don't have that house for sale, do you?
I do.
Okay. How can I help you?
Well, I mean, you called me. You can buy my house.
Oh, okay. So it is still for sale. It's probably about real estate. You are trying to sell that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Do you mind? My name's Steve. What's your name?
Victor.
Victor. Hey, do you mind if I just ask you a couple quick questions? You can ask me some questions, and if you don't like my questions, go ahead and fire me. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect.
Awesome. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being urgent, your motivational level isn't about a 2 or 3, is it?
No, it's definitely a little bit higher than that. I mean, I want to sell my house. I want to sell it right now.
What do I need to do to get you to a 10?
You can give me my asking price.
Okay. Which is?
320.
Okay. So how did you come up with that number?
This is what other properties like mine are selling for in the neighborhood.
Okay. And so you basically got some comps, you went through a realtor, you found it, somehow you got 320, right?
Yeah. I looked on the real estate websites and stuff, the Zillow and realtor.com and stuff. And so that's what it looked like. I asked a realtor friend and they said I was on track.
Do you got to move? Are you going out of state? I mean, why do you have to sell your house?
I want to move closer to my kids. They're in Phoenix.
In Phoenix. Okay. And you're living in where?
I'm living in California.
California. Okay. So you said 320. Do you need all cash, or would you be open to any type of financing? What do you need? You need all cash?
You know what? I do need all cash because I want to take this money and buy a place over there and put some money away.
Okay. So let's just suppose you want 320. I don't know, 320. That's gonna be tough. I think we still have a problem at 320.
I don't have a problem at 320.
I know, but I might have a problem at 320. Mine at 320.
Okay. Well,
let me. Before, you know what? I might have to go. So before I go, do you want me to tell you the truth about your property, or do you want me to make you feel good about it?
I don't even know if I like where this is going, but tell me what's on your mind.
Okay, well, because we're looking at comps for right around 280, 290, so I'm just having a hard time at that 320. Do you have any room at all to negotiate? Or are you pretty well firm on that 320?
When you say you're looking at comps, I mean, what exactly does that mean? I'm not sure if I know what that means.
Great question. Thanks for asking that. There must be a reason why you asked that. Can you help me out here?
Well, I mean, what I saw, 320 was a good price. So I don't know what you're looking at.
Okay. Hey, are you familiar with the MLS? It's a multiple listing service in California.
Yeah, yeah, that's what the realtors use, right?
Right, yeah. So I picked up some comps. I saw what's selling in the area within about a mile of your home right there. So I'm looking
Uh-huh.
between, 280, 290, 320 is going to be out of the ballpark. Now I could suppose I was able to do seller finance for the 320 or something. Would you be open to something like that? You wouldn't be open to something like that, would you?
Yeah, no, like I said, I need the money to buy my property in Phoenix.
Gotcha. So you need the whole 320.
Yeah, I'd like to get the whole 320.
Okay. Oh, it's going to work out. I'm going to have to probably go. Do you have any more questions before I leave?
How close to 320 can you get? Great tactic, by the way.
Takeaway.
Like I said, it's between 280, 290 is what I'm looking at right now. I might be able to bump it up. Suppose I was to go at 290. That's not something you'd be interested in, would it be?
When you say 290, I mean, that's a cash offer? That's something, we can close on and be quick about it?
Imagine for a moment that we were able to wire $290,000 into your bank account. And as we wire that money in there, you look in there 30 days down the road, honey, we got 290 into our account. And from that, you're going to leave your home in California, come to Arizona, close to your family. Imagine yourself actually having your own home in Arizona, in the backyard, cooking a nice little barbecue. What do you like? Do you like barbecue? Do you like steaks or hamburgers? What do you like?
That's funny you say that. Barbecue is my absolute favorite food.
What kind of food though? What do you like?
I like barbecue ribs. Barbecue ribs are probably at the top of the food chain.
Imagine just some good barbecue ribs. Imagine putting that sauce on there. Imagine the way it's just going to go into your mouth as you're eating that. How would that make you feel knowing that you bought a house there in Phoenix, close to your family? You can be in your backyard having those barbecue ribs. How would that make you feel?
I would be cool with that.
Okay. So are you okay with so let's go back to it's okay to talk about the money again. Is it okay to go in with are you okay with the 290? You still got to have the 320.
Man. Look, can you get any closer to that 320? How about we do 310?
Man, you're a tough negotiator, man. I don't know. 310?
Yeah.
Tell you what, I want to do business with you. I want to do business with you today, Victor. You seem like you're a man of your word. I want to do business today. If I was able to go 305 and close within 30 days and pay normal closing costs, you wouldn't be interested in that, would you?
Well, now you got my attention a little bit.
Which means?
I would be interested in something like that.
Is that a yes?
That's a yes.
So tell you what I'll do. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I've got all kinds of phone calls to make today. It's going to take me about maybe an hour and a half. As I stop what I'm doing, I'm going to put together a nice little video and a DocuSign document show $305,000 to you, normal closing cost. And if I get that over to you by 12 o'clock today, can you do me a favor?
What's that?
And get this back to me by 4:30 today so we can open up escrow and get this closed for you?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Well, now before I go, though, you're comfortable with right now. You're comfortable with 305. I mean, you don't have. Are you married? Does someone else have to be on the agreement? Does your wife need to be included with this?
No, I have a final say. So no,
okay.
I'll decide and we can go forward. Now, I just want to make sure this is a cash offer, right?
That's what you want. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So sorry about that. That's that. No, sorry about that.
Were that's some of the phone calls you were saying?
Yeah. No, that's good. Sorry. Yeah, that's phone calls. Okay. So as I get that, okay, one more thing. So I'm not going to be getting like I said, you seem like you're man of your word. I'm not going to be getting a phone call tomorrow saying, you know what, Steve, you know what, my dog just got an earache. I got 2 flat tires and my wife filed divorce papers. I'm not going to get that type of phone call tomorrow, will I?
You know something I don't know about my wife?
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No.
So, I thank you. I'm glad. Thank you for being a man of your word. I'll get this by 12 o'clock today. And I thank you for getting it back to me by 4:30 today, so we can open escrow. And I thank you very much. Hey, Victor, looking forward to working with you. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions between then, feel free to give me a call.
Will do.
That's it. That's how I would do it.
Okay, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Very, 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 very cool. So before I give my feedback, does anybody have any input, any questions, suggestions, or anything like that? Give me 1 second.
No, it was he controlled the conversation the full time, and he asked all the buying questions, to keep you intrigued, and he threw everything back at you. And like I said, controlled the conversation and took you where he wanted you to go.
Okay. Yeah.
Right
He
into
did a
his
really
lap.
good job of that. Yeah,
I got
absolutely.
good feedback.
Anybody else?
Alex.
I got some feedback. Yeah, Steve,
Alex.
what's happening?
How you doing,
Good
buddy?
job.
Awesome, man.
Hey, man. Doing good. I got a closing at 2 today.
Good, I
so
love
I'm
it.
doing,
That's good.
yeah. So I love that. You do a great job, Steve, with your questions. One thing that you do as well as me is the cadence. I would say maybe watching the cadence and listening to Victor's cadence, because sometimes you rush your words like this and talk really fast. I do that as well, but sometimes that freaks some people out. That would be my first critique.
Right.
The second one would be, I noticed when you were doing the closing, when you were doing the recap, you kind of created an objection that Victor didn't really take, but you essentially created an objection for yourself. You're like, okay, are you stuck on 320, and you brought it back up to 320,
Right.
I don't know. You said something like, can we do 290, or are you still stuck at 320? And I think that a lot of people would say, oh, I'm still stuck at 320. But other than that, man, I thought you did a great job. You talked about the why. I didn't hear the why, but money, timing, and commitment, you got all that packaged together really well. That was really good.
But thank you for giving that advice, because we all need that little bit of constructive criticism to help us out. So it's beautiful. Yeah, and sometimes I got to slow down and not go so fast. So I'm with you, man. Yeah, but I do want to say one thing. When you actually use the gut system, and you start practicing it every day, I'm just not only on the phone, but wherever you go, as you talk to people at the bank or you talk to people at the grocery store, eventually you start getting good at this. So it just starts flowing. So I don't even think about it anymore. I'm just asking those questions. I listened to Claude 2 days ago about it's that first 5 seconds. If we lose in 5 seconds, you're gone. They're going to say click. So we got to make sure we capture their attention that first 5-10 seconds, right? I'm speaking to a choir, but anyways, it works when you apply it. and then
it absolutely does.
Here's what you can tell. If you got closings, if you're making money, it works. I mean, good job, Alex. You got a closing, today. I had one yesterday. I got 2 more coming up. I got 3 more coming up next week. And another one coming up in 3 weeks after that. So as long as you're making money with the system, it's working, right? So
that's really the litmus test, right? If you're not closing deals, if you're not having it work for you, there's the system itself, I think, has enough of a track record to have proven itself. We know it works. If you are part of Claude's group, you got guts to be part of his group. I guarantee you.
Right.
So hey guys, you know that the system worked, right? We all were there. We all had that conversation, and we all were like, "Okay, I'll call you right back," or whatever, right? So
right.
Yeah, the system absolutely works. So, if does anybody else have any input before I say my part?
Hey guys, it's Ace.
Hey Ace, what's up, buddy?
I just caught the last part of the conversation. One thing that I do that I can input again, when they're like hesitant to take your price and everything, like step back and be the reluctant buyer and tell them, you know what, mister, I'm kind of sensing that you might not be ready to sell. Is that fair to say, or am I just being crazy? My wife tells me that sometimes I have that sixth sense of feeling things that I'm crazy about it. Are you ready to sell right now or no? And that steps back, that puts the seller in the position, because I just caught the last part that Victor wanted to be at 320, and I think we wanted to be at a lower price. when they're hesitant like that, put it back on them. Are you ready to sell or not, sir?
Well, and I think that's a very good point. Very good point. But what I've learned is I tried to pause. So he said 320, and then he said, "Hey, do you want to do 310?" I had to pause. And basically, once I paused, "Hey, man, you're a great negotiator, Victor." And then I lowered it down to 305 after I paused. I didn't jump on and say 310. I try to pause a little bit if I can. You know, that's what I've learned. So either way, yeah.
I always put him back on them and ask them. Like I literally ask them. I'm sorry, you know what? I know we're going back and forth on numbers, but I'm kind of sensing that you might not be ready to sell. And you can even throw that scale from a number of 1 to 10. How confident are you to get this thing done today? And if they give you a number, like let's say, because remember they're not at your number as far as your price number. Let's say they give you a 5. Oh, why so high? I thought you were literally ready to kick me out of the house or hang up on me. And then when you told them that why so high part, like, oh, well, I do want to sell. And then that gives you back the leverage. Okay, well, let's make something work right now. Now, 320 might not work for me, sir, but if you're ready to sell, I'm ready to buy. But it has to be a number that you negotiate coming down and I negotiate going up a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Right.
that's exactly right. Like you never accept the first number, and if they accept your first number, you know immediately that your number was wrong because there was a better number that you could have gotten if, in fact, they respond positively to your first number. So let me ask you real quick, Steve. What was the deal now that you were going to put together for me now that I've agreed on the 305? Because it's not a huge discount for a wholesale deal.
Mhm.
You know, you only brought me down 15,000, so you don't have any room basically to do a wholesale deal or make some money on this. So what are you looking at as your exit strategy? Because
Well,
I need my money. So if you come back to me with a lease option contract, I'm gonna just be pissed.
I don't know. I was just playing the game. I don't know. I just threw the number just as a role player. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I mean, that's all I was doing. I just want to practice. That's all.
Oh my God.
I wasn't really thinking of buying. I was just
practicing my phone skill.
Yeah, it sounded nice.
That's all. Hey, I got a question for you guys. You guys are actually in the guts. What do you think about Claude, or what about David? Who do you think Claude and David remind you of when those two go at it? David Squanick, who do you think he reminds you of between Claude when they go back and forth? Anybody have any idea who they remind you of when they work together? When David will say something, Claude will say something, they start laughing. Who do you think that is? Who do you guys think that is? Give me an idea. Okay. Does it seem like Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon? Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon. That's what it reminds me of, though, when those two are going back and forth. It's like, I think those guys plan for some of those questions. David, here's Claude. Here, David, ask these questions, man. And then Claude kind of like goes into it. I don't know. That's just my pick. Maybe I'm wrong. So, Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon.
Yeah, I'm not even going to touch that one.
I know. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Okay, so to kind of wrap that up, you guys, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot right there, Steve, but obviously, you guys, when you're looking at a deal, you got to look at a deal. Like, we're in here to achieve something. So he gathered a bunch of numbers from me, but at the end, a discount like that, you really have no place to go, because you're either going to buy it yourself and do something with it. Either you're going to keep it as a cash flowing property, you're going to sandwich lease option it and stay in the middle because you have such an attractive discount. Now, what he negotiated, what I would have done with that is the only way that works with only a $15,000 discount is to do a lease option. Because now you can still discount the price 5,000, pull 10,000 for yourself, stay in there or whatever, and make sure that he has some money. But if there's no money in there, and I know Steve, you're a big subject to guy for the most part. So I know that's how most. Well, I assume that's how most of your deals, because that's kind of what you share, right?
Well, it's a little bit different right now because I've got a different type of niche. I used to do that, but it's a little bit different. I just wanted to let the guys know that first 5 to 10 seconds of how critical to get that control, get that view.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you
that's
were
all.
just basically doing the fundamentals of the process,
Totally.
as opposed to working yourself through an
Right.
actual deal.
It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay to do that. Next time I'll just go for the numbers a little bit better. How's
Yeah, it's
that?
not okay, and don't ever do it again. I'm messing with you. Of
Hey,
course,
real quick,
yeah. I
Steve.
mean, that's what we're here. We're here to practice.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Steve, I understand I've been doing phone sales for everything since 2004.
Mhm.
And that's what I was going to ask you, Victor. You always use their first name. You don't say Mr. Johnson or whatever.
No.
You say, hey, Bob, right? You get
You-
their
you-
attention
But you know why you do that? Why do you say their first name?
because
Why
you
do you say
don't
it?
want to be submissive to them.
Or,
Well, you
yes.
know,
If you
likability
say
and trust.
Mr. Johnson, you're under them now.
Right.
And they'll treat you that way. They'll talk down to you. If you say, hey,
Sometimes-
Bob, cut straight with me, Steve. Come on.
Yeah.
You know.
Really, that's because when you say their name, you likability and trust. Hey, Brett, I always use that in my conversation. Always say their first name. People like that, you know, and then you get that rapport. Then you got likability and trust. Now, because you can make a sale if you got likability and trust. You know,
Yeah,
you're
because you
trying
don't
go-
want to sound like their bank call, like, hey,
No.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've even asked them. I said, "What do your friends call you? Is it okay if I call you that too?" Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, whatever it takes. Try to get their first name.
Because now I've implied that we're friends.
Or you could joke with them and say, well, now what you want me to call you?
Exactly. And so what you just said was a good point, right? Because again, we're looking for pattern interrupts. We're looking to move them away from, I'm talking to some guy who's getting ready to do some spiel and getting ready to offer me some bullshit that I don't want, right? So all of their defenses are up here at that point. So every little thing that you can do, to sort of just change all of the stuff that's in their mind is going to work to your advantage, and you can move them where you need them to be.
You got to be different.
Mary,
You got to be. You got to be
sweetie?
different, right? You got to be
Yeah,
different.
you got to be different.
We have to. That's why I said, "How can I help you?" And Claude taught us that this week. How can I help you? You know, well,
Yeah,
you
that
called
was
me.
good. That kind of put me back on my heels a little bit,
Right.
like,
Right.
you know, and because you notice I had to think about it, and
Right.
my only response
Right.
was,
You
can buy my
you
house.
said. You said you called me, right?
Yeah, you called me. You can buy my house. That's what you can do. You know, but now again, it's a pattern interrupt, right? I'm outside of my already always way of responding to something.
Right. You're different.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to.
yeah. Mary had a question. Yes, dear. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
One thing I want to add too, when you're talking with someone, like from a woman's perspective, if they're selling their house, is that you care, you know, so, and that you're not going to give that offer right away, because when somebody comes at me with they're trying to sell something and they, you know, give me an offer right away, it's like, whoa, you know, why are they doing that? But, you know, I'm like leery as to their motive. And if I have someone who's going to buy my house who's really not going to care about me or the house, you know, they just want to get a sale. And if they say they're an investor, they just want to, you know, get me down to see how much money they can make. You know, I'm not apt to work with them a whole lot. So, you know, I think like to slow down a little bit with, I know, you know, when we're on the phone, you know, we're trying to think ahead and, you know, and maybe we don't have all the confidence to sound caring, you know, like we're thinking of our words and what to say and what to say next, you know, but I think it's slowing down a little bit as to like hearing about them, especially a woman's perspective. A woman wants to feel protected. They don't want to have somebody, you know, feel like investors coming in, get them down on the price, and so they can make their money off of your house, and you need your money, you know. So I just wanted to add that, you know, to like.
Yeah,
you,
real quick, on
Great
top
point.
of that, sorry, Victor, real quick before I have to pick my son up, I apologize. Sorry. But to add to that, I wanted to ask you about building value. When you present the offer, you got to build it up to make it, like she was saying, you know, it's their home. It's their home. You want to build the value You don't just say, hey, what about 220? You know,
Yeah.
it's their house. You want to make them feel like they're getting something.
Yeah, that's also a great point, Brett, because you do want to make them feel good. And just like to tie in with what Mary said, there's a certain emotion and there's a certain passion that they have for their house, unless of course, you know, they're just so over it till it's like, you know, come take this, you know. But the truth is, I hardly ever run into those particular conversations. If you're talking to homeowners, if you're calling for sale by owners, for rent by owners, they have a certain attachment to their property. They have a certain, you know, they have memories there. They might have raised their kids there or whatever.
Right.
And what Mary's referring to is tying into that emotion and letting them know that you're the person that's going to take care of their house for them. That you're the person that's going to now, you know, not only solve their problem, but you're going to take good care of their baby. You know, and I find that she's right. Once you get to that point with people, it changes their level of commitment to you. You become, quote unquote, their guy or their girl. And once you're in that spot, it allows some things to occur that benefit you long term in any negotiations. So that works. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate you always jumping in, man, and you know, doing the role play and working on your game. That's what we're here for, you guys. I have my man Alex wants to jump on board with the role
Alex,
play.
go for it.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing about what Mary said just quickly? I think
Yes.
what Mary said, very important, is that you want to let people do the talking. Let them do 80% of the talking. We do maybe 20% by asking the right questions, you know. And once you know, I think Claude has a great example. I keep going back to, you can't kiss the girl without giving her a glass of wine. So give them some wine, let them do all the talking, and then you'll know when to close because they feel comfortable with you. So I think Mary's got a great point. Let them just talk, you know, let them talk, and then you'll know, build a rapport, but always asking the right questions. Under the gut system, you know, you guys are in the gut system. So anyways, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah, well,
Alex, you're on.
If they're not, you know, that's still, everybody knows that that's what we're promoting here. That's what we're teaching. That's part of this process. And you know, you'll see in the role play with Alex. Now, Alex, did you want to be the buyer or the seller?
So I want to try and be the buyer, and I want to talk to somebody who is in pre-foreclosure.
Oh,
and yeah, someone who's been waiting with the moratorium, which got extended to January 31st as of this present time. So I want to lace them up and have a conversation with somebody and try to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
That's his niche. That's Alex's niche.
Absolutely. Right? That's kind of
cool,
becoming mine as well. So I'm with you, Alex. I have a campaign going right now, and the conversations are so uniquely different than what I was doing with the lease option conversation and that particular avatar. It's a complete different thing. So yeah, this is going to be good. Now I could obviously do it, but is there anybody else that wants to participate that hasn't already participated in the conversation? Anybody, you know, you can raise your hand. Let me stop sharing my screen because I know he doesn't need this.
You looking for somebody to be the buyer?
Yeah, I want to try to see if I can get some new people up in here that haven't participated before. Let me I'm gonna start calling out some names here. Let's see.
I could be the seller.
Because you always are there. I don't mean
mind your business. Look, mind your business. Look, mind your business, Victor.
I'm gonna try to get somebody who hasn't done it yet.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Victor. I'll do it.
Who's that, George?
Yeah, you meant to be the seller.
My man, George. Perfect. All right. So George and Alex, you guys are up. You're going to be the seller, and you know he's kind of painted a scenario for you where you know you're in pre-foreclosure. You're the proverbial you know guy tied to the tracks with this train on its way. And you have to do something, and Alex is going to be attempting to purchase your home and solve your problem for you.
It's just like Mario saving peaches. From Bowser.
That's right. That's right. All right, you guys can get started whenever you want.
All right, and this is George, right?
Yeah, George. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Let's make it happen. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this the owner of Banana Street?
Yes, it is. Who's
Hey,
this?
man. This is Alex. Man, you got a problem.
Okay, what kind of problem are you talking about?
Well, I know you've had dozens of people reach out to you, but you got this foreclosure matter hanging over your head. You probably already have that all figured out, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, how do you know that?
Man, it's public information. You're a neighbor of mine, and I just wanted to reach out to you and ask you a couple of questions and see if I might be able to help you keep your home. And if that's not, an option, I can help you with some fallback plans. Is that okay?
We can talk about it.
Okay. And at any point, if you just decide, you don't want to conversate with me and you just want to walk away and you got other options, man, just throw up your hands and just tell me and just fire me. Is that okay? Can we just be honest with each other?
Yeah, I don't mind doing that.
Okay. Good deal. So where are you at with this process? Are you working with the bank or are you looking to sell at this time?
No, right now I'm just trying to hustle up some money from some family and friends, trying to get my mortgage caught up and everything, and hopefully I can stay in the house.
Yeah, most certainly. Sounds like you hustle, man. It's pretty tough right now. Do you have like a formal job or is it just like a side gig or?
No, I got like a little side gig, and I got caught up in the the layoff situation here. That's why I am where I am now. So we're actually thinking about going and getting 2 smaller jobs, just to try to make ends meet. But I'm used to making like $35, $40 an hour. That's not happening right now. So
okay. Yeah, well, it sounds like you're getting some traction with that. In regards to your sale date, it looks like this is coming up here in the next 2 months. And have you already submitted all the loan modification paperwork? Are you working with the bank, or have you not done that yet?
No, I haven't done anything yet like that.
All right, man. Well, I think I don't know if I can help you or not. It sounds like keeping your home might not be an option.
Well, what do you got? I mean, what are you talking about doing?
Well, I'd like to show you how you can keep your house by submitting a loan modification. But unfortunately, it sounds like with your job situation, doesn't sound like it's too consistent. I don't know if that would work for you. I don't know if I can help you keep your house, man.
Okay. All right. I mean, so.
Have you ever considered maybe selling it?
Yeah, that'll be, before I lose it, I'll definitely sell it.
Okay. Yeah, I see a lot of people wait till the last minute. I'd hate to see that happen. If you were to sell it, how much would you be looking to get for it?
I don't know. I've got a lot of equity in it, man. I'm not going to give it away or nothing like that. If I do sell it, we're going to have somewhere to stay. So, I'm going to have to have, I don't know if I'm going to go somewhere else to rent or whatever, but, I'm going to have to get out here with, a chunk of cash. I said, this house has got a, substantial amount of equity in it.
Okay. Hey, Victor, here, let's pause real quick. Victor, this is kind of where I always get jammed up is right around here, trying to essentially identify what they're looking to do. And, because obviously a lot of these people want to stay in their home and they obviously can't. So how can I paint the picture to be like, selling as your best option?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, what I would do in my thinking is I would switch over to what exactly are you trying to create here? The easiest thing that you want to create here is a sellable contract. Does that make sense? So right now you want to put something together that you can turn around then and sell on, in the marketplace. So you want to try to do something. Now, to solve his problem, there's some questions that you need to answer. One of which is, how much money does it take to solve your problem?
Can I add something?
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, everybody?
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Cash offer.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Alex, ask them about the money. Go right into
Totally.
it. Don't wait. Just
Right.
what
Right.
you
Yeah.
should do is tell them, can you afford it? All right. I understand you got a foreclosure about to happen. Can you afford this property? Okay. If you can't afford it, do you have any family or anybody who could loan you the money? Right. And then you just start narrowing down his options because he's gonna probably say no to majority of those. And then you got to get them emotional. Ask them, well, damn, that's really tough. We've all been in that situation before. I mean, what are you hoping to see happen, sir? I mean, if you can't get the money, you're going to lose this house. Yeah, maybe throw in a guts move. You want me to tell you the truth, or you want me to lie to you? You're going to lose this house, sir. You need to make a decision, and that's how I would do it. I would go straight to the money. I would stop. I wouldn't go around that because that's his pain point. He's about to be foreclosed on.
And I think also a very good point, Mr. Cashoff or Chris. What I would do is he said equity 2 or 3 times. I found, okay, what do you think your equity is? Try to pinpoint what that number is. Get an idea of what he thinks his equity is, and then basically go from there and figure out, okay, this is what he wants. This is what he would like to receive. So if I can provide this for you, whatever it is, 60, 70,000, whatever. And maybe he wants 70, maybe you'll give him obviously less a little bit, but I would go for the equity part. George said that 2 or 3 times.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a good point. But so the point that I was making, and Chris is on track in terms also of going straight to the money, because remember I painted the picture of this guy is tied to the track with a train coming. Okay, all of this other nonsense that he's describing, like he has all of these options, is nonsense. So you have to cut through that. And what Chris was describing was taking away all of it, killing all the sacred cows that he think he has access to, right? Also, if you think about it, when you're having this conversation with him and he's talking about going to family and friends or whatever, I could ask all you guys this question. Would you rather owe money to all your family and friends and have that get awkward and screwed up, or would you rather owe money to a bank?
Yeah.
Neither.
Bank.
Nobody wants to owe money to their damn family and friends and have a whole awkward life around that nonsense. So that one is kind of like, I paint that picture of what that could really look like, because I'm sure we've all had an experience, right, about owing somebody or somebody owing us. Right. So just like Chris was mentioning, also eliminate all of the sacred cows, that you go and paint the picture of what this is going to look like if he doesn't handle this situation, and you can handle it. Now, along with that, you're in your mind thinking, okay, what am I going to create that I can sell? Okay, because you have an exit strategy in your mind, right? So in this case, are you either going to hold on to this property, or are you looking to create a sellable asset? Again, we're investors.
Yeah.
Right? We're investors. So, and it's probably a little bit of both, right? Because if you create something attractive for yourself, it's probably sellable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want, what am I trying to create? What am I trying to put together here that I could put on paper, and I could go to, Horace and say, Horace, look, I got a deal for you, buddy. And all it's going to take, you put down 70,000, and you got a house that's worth 320. You got you got the potential cash flow of $1,600 a month. You can sell that to anybody. Right? So, think in those terms. So if you guys ready? You want to go back into it and see what you can do with it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool.
All right, so George, I appreciate you sharing all that with me, man. So how behind are you? Do you know roughly how many months you've missed and how much you owe, like in back payments?
I just hit, I'm 2 months behind, coming up on 3 months behind.
Time out real quick, please. Let me just share this. It's another nugget for you, Alex. Never ask them how much behind they are, you personally, because it's an ego thing. Say how far is the house behind?
Right. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a really good language description. Okay. Okay. So George, how far behind is the mortgage?
About 2 months.
Okay, 2 months. All right. Okay, and man, I'm just trying to think of how to piece this together. This is really where I struggle, guys. Honestly.
So
Trying
right
to
now you
figure
need
out-
to gather some ammo, right? So gather some ammo. Find out as much information as you can about this situation. Now, if I can't help you today, George, what are your options? What are your options? And he'll tell you. And you're like, okay, I see that. But George, wouldn't it be? I've owed my family before.
Yeah.
My family money.
Cash offer, go for it.
Go for it, man.
Victor, is it okay? I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah, jump in here, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now,
George,
hold on one second, Chris. Just so you guys know, this is Chris's specialty. He's a subject to guy. So he really knows what he's talking about. So we appreciate you sharing, Chris.
Sweet.
Absolutely. George, so you're behind 2 months on that property. So it's probably not that bad, maybe $1,000 or 1,500, something like that. Yeah, probably not that bad, right?
Not that bad. It's about 3,500.
30. Oh yeah, so you can probably go to your family or something and borrow that type of money, right?
Well, 3,500. I actually don't have to borrow that. I mean, I just don't want to, 3,500.
You probably got that laying around somewhere, like under the mattress or something like that, right?
No, I don't have it like that. I mean, but I do have it. But if I do use it, it's going to I'm not going to have much left over.
Okay. I mean, this is a very important. I'm pretty sure you'd like to keep your house over your head. I mean, why not just go ahead and spend that 3,500 and take care of that mortgage, and this will all be behind you.
Well, and that's a possibility. Like I said, I like to try to hold on to my cash as long as I can. I'm only 2 months behind, so I'm just kind of, making sure that I don't get so far behind that I can't catch it up if I need to.
Absolutely. It sounds like you're a very intelligent guy, like you got it all figured out. Let me ask you, I'd like to help you today in this situation, but it seems like you may have already kind of backed yourself into this. Why are we talking today? What would you like to see happen with that property, sir?
Well, I'm taking, I guess, I don't know. I mean, my phone's been ringing a few times, so, I'm the kind of guy, I'm open to anything. So I mean, who knows? I mean, I may have to call you back. I don't know. I mean,
okay. So you wouldn't want to sell it for any amount of money today, would you?
No, I'm not really interested in selling right now. I'm not in that bad a shape.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like it's over with then, sir.
Yeah, well, if you leave me your name and number, like I said, if I get in dire straits, I'll be willing to give you a call and see what we can work out. But as of today, I like to try other options. I've got good health, and I know how to hustle up a little bit of money if I have to. And I just ran on bad times with the COVID-19 thing. So
yeah, but you got the money laying around. You're able to step in and make that payment. So I don't see this really affecting you that bad. And I know that you're pretty intelligent. I know you won't let your house go off to foreclosure, sir. So I'll send you something in the mail, and if things get any worse, maybe you can give me a call. If not, I know in my mind that you got this taken care of. Is that fair?
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. You have a good rest of your day, sir.
You too.
Okay, so you want to break that down for us, Chris? You're thinking, what you saw, why you let him off the hook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, $3,500. He said he had it. He has the money, right? Most times, a foreclosure is going to say, I can't afford it. I don't have the money. I can't afford it. I can't do it. I'm really in a terrible situation right now. Or they don't want the house. So I asked him also, so you don't want to sell it for any amount of money, do you? And he was like, no, I don't want to sell it. So he tells me he has the money. He tells me he doesn't want to sell it. he's not qualified. He's not a motivated seller. I will rate him, even though he's in foreclosure and we would expect him to be motivated. He's still like a 5 or a 6. He's not motivated. And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
let me fire this guy and let's go on to the next. There's a lot more pre-foreclosures that we can talk to where you might find that one who is motivated, who cannot afford the property and is ready to sell, and may be vacant or may not be, but they're ready to move forward to the next phase of their life.
Does it benefit you in a conversation like this when that amount owed is substantially greater?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. I like it when it's a lot greater because then that person, they're dealing with all of this stress about how they're going to come up with that money. And so they want to out. When it's low, I have done deals. I've done a deal with individuals for $3,500 before, but they were motivated. They were ready to get out of the house. They were motivated.
It was their attachment to the house that they didn't have that attachment. They were ready to move on. All this looked like a bad memory. You're like, solve this problem for me so I can just turn the page on this chapter in my life.
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah,
that makes absolute sense. Tables. I'm sorry to jump in. I like to turn the tables because everybody looks at the bank. Well, the people in the house look at the bank as being the villain, so to speak.
Okay.
So when I talk to someone, I want to find out how much they're behind. I say to them, what does the bank say? How much does the bank say that you're behind? Because they'll sometimes put the late dollars in there. They'll put the attorney fees in there, the listing. All of a sudden, this number from, they think they're 3 payments behind. All of a sudden, it's $15,000. So after they answer that question for me, I say, are they right? And they'll say, well, yeah, I guess so. And I said, when they came up with this number, how long ago was that? You start getting more information as you ask questions. So if they say, well, I was $12,000 behind, but that was the last notice I got from the bank was 60 days ago. So I guess I owe another 2 more payments. There you go. Now you got a more definitive number where you're at. And the number that they're going to give you from the bank is always a lot higher than what they're going to admit to being 2 or 3 payments or whatever. It's more than that.
And what I heard too, Steve, was you refer to them as they, and you sort of in your conversation you villainize the bank, right?
I don't make it personal like they did anything wrong.
Okay.
I make it
right.
Sound,
you mean
listen,
when you say they, you mean the borrower you're talking to.
Correct.
The homeowner you're talking to.
Correct. I've been in consumer finance for 40 years, and the bank, the lender, they're always the villain. Yeah. Someone gets their car repossessed, and it's always, well, the bank didn't post my payment, they did something wrong. Take them out, take the personality out of it. And if someone has to be blamed in the whole situation, blame it on a damn bank. Those guys are ruthless. Yeah. And build on that and say, I'm on your side. Let's see if we can let's see if we can put something together. And I build on that. Now you look like you're more of their friend.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex, did you get any little nuggets from that we can always just jump back up in here and we can maybe have George be a little bit more, we could even have him raise the dollar figure or go a little more reluctant in, wanting to go to his family or, some of those things and see if you can, go from there. But again, and I do want you guys to always remember though, that you're investors, right? We're investors. We have to create a sellable asset. That's a big deal. Like, I don't want to just, I know it's kind of getting poo-pooed, it sounds like a little bit, but unless you can get a deal that either you want to keep or that you can sell, you're just having conversations, right? You're just, sending out shit, because the ultimate goal is to make money off of whatever it is you create in this conversation. Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. Everything else is bullshit, right? Because we're in this thing to make money, like Claude says, when?
Today.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have to create a sellable asset that we can now market or keep. So George, you want to jump back in here? We can stay with you guys, and George, just kind of, maybe make it, let's say you're 5 months behind at this point, right? So you got a little bit more, you know, at stake right here, and the clock is definitely ticking, and it's really loud right now. And Alex, you're just going to try to, you know, see what you can do to solve his problem and be his solution today, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I got to leave at 1:30 though. But okay.
Okay, we got a little time for you. You should be done by then.
So George, how much is the bank saying that you owe right now?
Well, they're saying I'm owing like about 5-6 months behind. I'm behind about right at 10 grand.
Okay, about 10 grand. And when did you get that last update? Was that a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, or?
Yeah, it's a couple months ago.
Okay, man, I'm looking at this. Okay, I'm sure that you maybe, you know, you got about a month, so you got a little bit of time. You probably got like a rich uncle or a family member who's looking to help you out and keep the house, right?
Not for 10 grand.
Okay. Well, what I could do is, you know, I can help you out, but I got other people. Actually got a meeting here in a little bit. But before I go, if I was able to help you out, get some money in your pocket and avoid the foreclosure, would that be something you'd be interested in learning more about?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, cool.
Ask
So
him
you mentioned
if he's looking to stay in his house, or is he okay with selling it? That you want to determine where he's at in relative to his desire to stay in his house. Do you want to stay in your home? You know, because that's going to allow you to know what direction you need to move in.
Okay. So George, are you looking to stay in this house, or would you be willing to trade it in and get some money and walk away from the situation?
Well, I prefer to stay in it. Actually, I wouldn't want to have to go, but well, yeah, I prefer to stay in.
Okay. And why is that? Why would you want to stay there?
Here's the neighborhood. I mean, we've been here like 20 years, and we're pretty well known in the neighborhood, and you know, we kind of like it here. It's quiet, but you know, I've got to be open right now.
I'm dead, man. I'm dead, guys. I'm dead on this one. I'm dead. He's gone.
There you go. He ain't gone. He's right in there. So, okay. Does anybody else want to jump in, or I see Steve. You look like you itching a little bit.
I'm getting a headache.
You getting a headache?
Listen, I'm more argumentative in these.
You're more New Yorker.
I'm from New York, man. We just go right down the middle, and the people here that we speak to really appreciate it more. They just know that because they're getting calls from everybody. I got a pendants list that comes out that when it hits the townships about a week or two before everybody gets it, and when you call them or you show up on their doorway, they're expecting you already. No matter how good the list is, they're expecting you. So, you know, I like what Claude says. So listen, want me to lie to you? Want me to tell you the truth?
Right.
If you're 6 months behind, hey, you got there for a reason. Okay, COVID, blame it on anything. Listen, blame it on anything they want. The guy's in denial. But time is not on your side.
Talk to George. Talk to George. Yeah.
George, where are you, George? Hello, George. Yeah, there he is. All right. So where are we here? So you're 6 months. You said what? He's
6 months behind, and he doesn't have anybody that can lend him the money, and he wants to keep his house.
He needs 10,000.
My conversation goes either if he's in New York, he's got years before he's got to worry about moving. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, forget it. You could.
You could ride that horse forever.
My next door neighbor was 12 years.
12 years.
12 years. 12 years to get this guy out of the house. Talk about a zombie house. I live in a real nice neighborhood. 12 years. They just sold the property, the dirt, for 1.1 million.
Wow.
I would want to know what if the time, how much time is going to pass between that last notice and when the foreclosure action, if it's a lis pendens action, or they've already cranking this thing up and they've already filed in court that it's going into foreclosure. If that's already happening, and he's in a state that turns it fast, say, hey guys, time's not on your side. You want me to lie to you? You want me to tell you the truth? Which do you want? You're living in fantasy land right now. This is let's come into the real world. You can rent a house for $1,000 a month. I can maybe help you out with that. But when the sheriff comes and knocks on the door, game's over. You're moving. You know how fast they move. Listen, you got to put sometimes the fear of God in some people. You know, I'm sorry. I go right down the middle with it. I've been on both. You know, I'm a lender and I've repossessed. I've done it all. But when you're talking with people, you know what? A lot of times, instead of you pussyfooting around and all, they know they got a problem. They know they're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
And they're expecting you to tell them, really, hey, you got to shit or get off the pot here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. I mean, you can talk. Listen, the next guy that's going to call you is going to promise you the world and this and that. You know what? Maybe you should go. Maybe you should do that. Maybe you should, list it with a broker and waste another 120 days. I don't know. But if you're talking reality, I can help you now, right now, and I can help you with a plan where you'll succeed and you can turn this thing around. Maybe in a few years you might want to buy a house again. Maybe we can aim that if that's your exit strategy.
Yeah,
but I can't get to square one unless we're both going to be honest with each other. Now, I just completely blew everybody away here because I go right down the middle.
Well, I mean, it absolutely makes sense. And everybody has, and we're dealing with somebody who is definitely in a situation and they probably are a little bit in fantasy land. So it helps to have someone who's going to come at them direct, let them know exactly what they can do, as long as you have a solution, right? So in this situation right here, in your mind, what are you thinking you could do for this guy? What do you think you can create for this guy to solve his problem?
Is there any equity left in this deal?
You're talking to George, so you could ask
George. Hello, George. You got it. So you figure you owe $150,000 on this house. What's it worth?
It's worth about at least $330,000, $350,000.
Oh, let me get back on the chair. Wait a minute.
150,000.
So you owe 150,000, and it's worth was that the number we were using?
Yeah, we've been here. I've been here 20 years.
So you got $150,000 in equity. So you've got some equity there. I wouldn't want to see you lose all that in the courthouse steps. So why don't we put together a plan of either maybe I can help you give me an idea if you have any other assets maybe you can sell. You got an car, whatever it is, just to get you back on the road. To getting this mortgage paid. You have any other assets you can borrow against, maybe?
Not really. I mean, my vehicles aren't. They're not dilapidated, but they're not gonna bring in 10 grand. And I do have one car payment as well. So
you got a 401k at work?
Yeah.
You do. Well, in emergency situations, you might be able to take some money out of that. You might want to look into that, like today. Anything I'm going to tell you, it's going to sound like I'm pushing you very, very hard, but listen, I'm trying to be as honest as I can with you and tell you that time is not on your side in these situations. The more time that goes by, you think the bank has been belligerent? Wait, it's going to get better. Not for you, but for them. The more goes by, the more time goes by, the more they're going to strong on you, the more phone calls you're going to make, the more letters you're going to get. And before you know it, your kids are going to come in the house saying, Daddy, there's some guy outside taking pictures at the front of our house. I don't want to see you go through all that. So if you got money in your 401k, I don't know how much it is. I don't want to get involved with that. Your personal business. Sit down with the human resources department or whoever. See what you can get out of that in emergency funds to put this back on track. There's government programs that might be able to help you. But let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say you can't borrow enough. Maybe you're not vested enough inside there. How long have you been with your job?
Actually, like I said, I still got the 401k, but I'm laid off right now.
You're laid off. You still got the 401k, whether you're working or not.
Yeah.
Okay. You have money in it?
Yeah, I've got some money in it, but it's all I got.
Okay. Well. Let's get away from the 401k for a minute, guys. All right, let's go back. If there's equity in the deal and he's got this much money, I'd want to see if the bank says the payoff. I use payoffs. If the payoff on the mortgage is only 150 grand and the house might be worth, he says 300. Maybe it's worth 2.25 because it needs a lot of work. I don't know. I've already had that conversation with him. My next question on the box is, listen, if I can help you get into another house now, all right, you'll lease, maybe we'll lease it for a little while. You'll lease it with an option to buy it. And I can turn around this mortgage so it's current. Would you be interested in doing something like that? And I'd answer, and I'd say, I'll look for something in your neighborhood. All right. So if I can give you some payment relief there, we can put this mortgage on the background. I can get you into another house on a lease option where you can move into it. And you get the option to buy it down the road. Would that be something you're interested in?
Yeah, but I consider that, but I wouldn't want to lose the equity I have in my house right now.
I don't want you to lose it either. I wouldn't want you to lose it either. So now we have a conversation. We had a conversation about the condition of it and what he thinks the property's worth. And while I'm sitting on the at the computer, I'm already ringing up. I'm on PropStream and looking at Zillow and seeing what it's worth. You know, I'm on Zillow right now, which is a big real estate site. It's showing like $230,000, $240,000 of your properties in your neighborhood are selling for. You already told me that the house needs carpet, paint. There's a couple of loose shingles on the outside of the house, this and that. So I mean, maybe the house, maybe you've got $25,000 in equity. If we're really going to talk numbers right now, if you're comfortable doing that, I'll talk to you. If it's worth $240, to, you know, as an appraisal that everybody's going to come back and say this house is in great condition, and you still got another $30,000 in repairs with down a, you know, 210, 190, whatever. Where are we going here? Where's your equity? By the time you get done on the courthouse steps, you're going to have nothing. So let me put together a program, a plan for you, all right, where I can maybe move you into a lease option house, maybe get you a few dollars for the security, the rent, and all that. And let's be realistic about how this plan can go forward. Because if you're thinking this house is in the 300s, we're not even in the ballpark.
Well, I was just going by what's sold down the street. I mean, but they did make some repairs too before they sold it. So.
So George, would you be interested in going ahead today with this plan, or you want me to just to say forget about it and go on to the next call? You fire me and we just move on.
No, I'd just like some more information. You said you could, you know, help me out. You could send me some more information about. I really don't, you know, I'm not ruling it out because it sounds like a possibility.
All right, I picked this up in the middle, so I don't know where we all started. And I got on the call late, so I'd push him more towards either. It could be either way. It could be a lease. I don't think it's going to be a lease option. It's going to be more or less a subject to deal, right?
Yeah.
I'd want that deal, and I'd line up something in the neighborhood, possibly with a rent to own or whatever it is. Put some money up to get the guy in there. That's his equity. Everybody lives happily ever after. And I put that plan together as quick as I could. And what I would sell him, I wouldn't send him anything now unless it was going to be a contract to purchase. But I wouldn't do that. I'd wait. So you know what? Give me a couple of days. You got my number. You know, and if you're really interested, I'll spend some time on this and put something together for you. Good plan. But I got to hear your commitment now. I mean, as gentlemen, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Okay. All right. George, I know it's 10:28. I know you got to run right now, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you participating and jumping in there. Great job, by the way. Yeah, really appreciate your input. Did you want to share anything or you know?
No, I appreciate the
some
opportunity, man.
feedback on it.
I appreciate the opportunity. I mean, it's, you know, it's definitely some golden nuggets in there from everybody that perform as a buyer. So yeah, that was, you know, with Steve. I mean, Steve's obviously very experienced in you know, that's.
I don't listen enough. I'm like a bulldozer. A lot of times I'm very combative.
Run over
That's my problem. I don't do, you know, it's the way it is.
Yeah.
When you've been a boss for a long time, that's what happens.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care, man. Have a blessed day, okay?
Sorry about your house, George.
So In closing, if I could get some feedback, I mean, you guys might find it almost hard to believe. I got 4 deals under contract right now, closing on one, taking one over subject to tomorrow, and we got a lot in the pipeline. But my issue is that I'm a nice guy, and I almost take that insulting when people tell me that, because I've been having people step on me, like my renters. I had some renters. I gave them some wiggle room, and they're just sleeping on me right now. But that's my biggest challenge is I have a hard time, being the bulldozer and laying down, and these types of people in pre-foreclosure, they need to be led, because they're obviously their financial maturity is lacking in most of these people's lives.
Right. So is there anybody else who you have that you can put in between you and them? Do you have a jerk? Do you have somebody on your team that can do the management and do all of the stuff that is outside of your personality? Is there someone like that in your life?
Like the back end stuff, or what do you mean?
Or whatever end stuff. Somebody who, instead of you having to be the nice guy or whatever, they they don't have a problem being a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, my business partner, he'll lay it down. He has no issue.
Okay, so use him for that strength, right? Like, if you have to do the jerk thing, and you have somebody who can, they don't necessarily have to be a jerk, but they can play. Like, I can play jerk, like, I can play jerk like really badly, right? If I need to. I don't have that conversation like, oh, I'm a nice guy. Like, yeah, I'm a nice guy, but I can be an asshole. And if you feel like that's something that you need, especially when you have to draw the line in the sand to tenants and whatnot, first of all, one rule about real estate investing is your tenants should never know you're the owner.
Yeah.
Like, your tenant should never know you're the owner. Your tenant should either think that you're the manager who works for the jerk owner. And if you do that, then you can be a jerk and blame it on the owner. Right? It's not me. It's not me. Look, if it was me, I would let you stay here as long as but my hands are tied.
That's good. You're the good guy.
You know what I'm saying?
Bad guy.
Yeah, but I work for a jerk. This dude I work for is a freaking idiot. He pisses me off a lot of times too. But hey, what can I do?
So you mean to tell me? You talking about yourself in a way?
Yes, Philip, I am talking about myself. So you might have to, because of that, if that's a conversation you have going on, you might be able to put somebody in position that would actually resolve that for you, right? Like, now he's the manager, you're the owner in the background, he can make you a jerk without you actually having to be a jerk.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
And stop showing up at your properties telling your tenants that you're the owner. Make today the last day you do that shit.
Yeah,
that is just problems waiting to happen, bro. Like, I'm telling you, they cannot know that you're the owner, because you are already a nice guy, and they already know that, and you look like carpet.
Yeah,
they gonna run
They
over
gonna walk all over your ass.
They gonna run. If you get walking, they gonna run.
Is your personal name on the leases?
Yeah, but I'm.
Get that off.
Yeah.
Move away from that. And this is for everybody on the call. You guys are, many of you are trying to stack money to become landlords and to, acquire properties and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, one of the most important lessons is, if you always want to try to put somebody in between you and the tenants, or if you are the person who has to interact with the tenants, you never let them know that you're the owner of the property. You are always 100% of the time working for a jerk.
And that jerk is a law firm.
Yeah.
They're all attorneys. They don't care about you.
No, they don't care about you.
I'm gonna try to help you as best I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And that's why I'm also part of this group. And Claude's deal is, I'm good on the phone, but sometimes I'm a little bit soft, man. I'm surrounded by millennials, man. So a lot of them I don't know. I don't know if you're soft. You sound good, Philip. I don't think you're too soft, man.
Difference
You saw,
between listening.
you want to be cool with with them, and you want to kind of, you know, have a relationship with them, and hopefully that when things go bad, they see your side of the you know, the problem, and sort of support you because you supported them, right?
Yeah.
Fantasy.
I actually did that to someone before. I said, man, I did this to my mom. You think I can do it to you too?
Yeah.
I'm a thespian.
Got scared off like that.
Like Claude said, become an actor, and know when to, you know, play the role.
Yeah.
That's how it's gotta be.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to play the role, or put somebody in the role to play it, kind of scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I don't know if anybody has any critiques for me, or if we should move on. We got about 25 minutes. Either way.
I have a question though. They say they're in pre-foreclosure, but they don't have an auction date. Do you go for them properties?
Yeah. Generally, the people I'm talking to, it's less than 60 days, because in Colorado you have 111 days. But the other challenge with all of this is that, you know, we've had this moratorium, so it's just been, you know, people haven't been getting foreclosed on, you know, since almost March. So all these people are just like, oh, I have time. And you know damn well they haven't been making payments for the last 9 or 10 months. And on top of that, they probably missed 3 to 6 months before that. So they're probably in the hole about a year to 18 months, and they're not going to get it figured out more than likely.
That's almost like death can't kill nobody.
Yeah, but a place like in New Jersey, even without the pandemic, it's nothing for a person to be going through foreclosure for 18 months, 2 years, nothing, because it's judicial.
Okay. So how do you move a person like that to make a decision? You know, I'm assuming that people do subject tos and stuff in those states. What would you say would be the key? Because they're obviously, you know, the train that's coming down the tracks is not only a long way away, but it's moving really slow.
From my experience is that you have to be there when they're ready to move.
Right. Okay.
Be there when they're ready to move. If they're a person with you know, making a certain amount of money, and they do value their credit, okay, they probably will try to get off of it. But if it's somebody who's making medium, medium income, and they can live rent free, they're gonna live rent free until it's time to go.
Okay. Yeah.
So
the credits
on a first payment default.
Say again.
Would anybody here do a subject to on a house that's going into foreclosure? That's a first payment default.
Definitely, I probably would.
Definitely, hell yeah.
I got a family that bought a house in February, closed on it, and hasn't made, and he got laid off in March. It hasn't made a payment on a house yet. They called me panicking. But now with everything that's happened with real estate, he thinks he's going to make all kinds of money on this house because Zillow shows it. Now it's up on he bought it here. I go, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But, he put
so
no money
what does he? Is there some potential equity though in the property? Is there equity in it now?
No, it's all phantom. It's phantom money.
Okay.
That's what I think. It's just phantom money, you know.
So what's the house worth relative to the loan?
He owes
or the loan plus the arrears.
He owes about $515, and I'm figuring the house is probably worth maybe $10,000 more. Maybe it's gone up. I mean, so hello.
Yeah.
It's midnight move.
Yeah. So there's really no room because there's nothing that you can create in there as a benefit, not only for yourself but for the person, because you're not going to pay full value for a house in that situation. Because you have no idea what else the bank is gonna plop on top of those costs and expenses. You could end up upside down like really quick, and now it's a problem for you.
He's already like $30,000,
$500,000.
What'd you say, Nathan?
I would say, especially if it's the debts on it's $500,000. I mean that.
Yeah.
You left fast, man.
Yeah.
And he's been out for what? 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, he's got to bring some money to the table if he's going to cure this.
No.
I think he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be done. So let's talk about some structure in terms of what you could do now with the situation. Let's going back to George's situation. Let's assume then that George did have, $100,000 in equity. I think that was something around, we'll just use that number, something around $100,000 worth of equity. He is a few months behind, let's say $10,000. Now, what could we put together for him that is marketable and solves his problem and allows him to stay in the house? Because when you have that kind of equity, you can actually do that. Because what I would do is I would look to do a subject to deal, right? A subject to deal for close to, that amount plus my whatever I want to earn on the property. Say if I want to make 20,000 now, let's say I'm at $130,000. I create a note for $130,000. I could sell that because I'm selling $80,000 worth of potential equity. I'm allowing him to now pay off and get back to even. The only drawback of that particular scenario might be that, okay, so he still doesn't have any income though, right? So the only thing that we may be able to do is we might be able to sell it at a high enough price where we can put some money in his pocket, pay him up for another few months, give him a little time, to breathe. And now he has, we're doing a note that we can now go out and sell.
But who's going to buy?
There's a lot of investors that'll buy. They're buying $80,000 worth of equity.
But if the question I had though is if he really has no job and you give him a few bob to buy him through a couple months, in 3 months, and what if he has no job?
In 3 months, you spend $5,000 or $10,000, depending on what state you're in. Going back to what Steve was suggesting, depending on what state if you're in California, in 3 months you have a house with $80,000 worth of credit, with $80,000 worth of equity. Again, it's location based on that particular scenario, right? Because in California, you're gonna be gone. You have like 90 days.
You're saying keep the homeowner in there and then just sell a new note?
Yep.
But they're going to default on that note. So who would ever buy that?
Yeah, that's
deal?
what I'm saying. They're going to default on it, right? I mean, if he doesn't have a job, who would want to buy that if you got some dude with,
You're going to buy it. You're going to buy it because he's going to default.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, good. I get it. I hear you. That's cool.
Yeah, you're going to buy it because he's going to default.
So
Right.
meaning you can kick him out faster out the house.
No, it means you get ready to inherit a house with $80,000 worth of equity.
Right. Because
we can't do that. In Colorado, we can't do that. That's not an option.
Well, that's what I said. It's location based, right? Because you can do it in California. You might not be able to do it in Colorado or in New York, like Steve was saying.
Right.
I'd make the front page of every newspaper. This is the most. Oh my God! Oh
Right.
my God! I'm getting a tumor listening to this.
Yeah, but in California, it happens all the time.
So
because really you're solving the problem right now. Obviously, you're going to do it with a conscience. So if he has the potential to go back to work, or if there's time in between, right? You're going to weigh all of these factors. So if he has an opportunity where he's going to be, going back to work, or he has an opportunity to make money, or he's started a business that is going to pay him, or in fact he might have enough income, he just doesn't have enough for the arrears. Right. So now he can't catch up, but he could make some ongoing payments.
That makes sense.
So all of those factors, right? Now you if you know those elements, now you can put together a deal. But now you're not going to put together a deal like, and I know what you're thinking, Steve, it's usury, right? To just put together a deal with the intention of with the knowledge that this guy is going to, default on it, and now you're just going to take his house at a cheap price.
But the prosecuting attorney would run out of paper.
Yeah, not in California. Happens all the time.
That's hilarious.
I'm not going to jump in there. I'll wait.
No, go ahead. Let's hear it.
I did one of these.
Okay.
In Long Island.
In Long Island?
It was a simpler one. It was just a basic house, right? And that's a great area.
Okay.
I'll give you the numbers were very general. Let's just say it was a $300,000 house and he owed $150,000, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and he had no money. He was about 4 months behind, and he was going off a cliff. He was already moved out of the house, right?
Okay.
But he thought he had He had $100,000 in equity some wholesaler told him, right?
Right.
So he owed it on paper for 50 cents on a dollar. That was the payoff was 150 grand with the mortgage company. I gave this guy, we did the whole thing subject to, did the trust, the whole 9 yards. But to make the story simple, I didn't want to give this guy a lot of money. So I dangled the carrot in front of the donkey. And I said, look, if you got $150,000 payoff, the house, maybe it's worth 250. I don't know if it's worth 300. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you a second mortgage for $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
No principal payments, no interest payments. There's no balloon. The balloon happens when I pay off the first mortgage.
Right.
When I pay it off, then this $50,000 comes to you. If I sell a house and the first mortgage gets paid off, great. I'm buying it subject to. That's not my intention. My intention is to wrap it. We do the whole thing. We tell him the whole deal. The guy snapped it up. He's got $50,000 coming to him whenever I sell this. Now, what happens in 3-4 years? This guy's going to need money. He's going to call me, hey, where's my 50 grand? You want something to know? I'll give you $20,000 for it.
Right.
You got another, I don't know when I'm going to sell this house.
Right.
So I'm never afraid of doing those.
Right. Yeah. So that's basically the structure, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
well, like this, that's like discounting the note.
Right. It's you've created a note. It's a discountable note. It just can't be such that it shows up like usury, like you have an intention to simply create a note to allow this person to default on and you take his house. Because like Steve said, that they'll come after you. The attorneys will bury you in a situation like that. So it's really about intention and structure.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are amazing. These conversations, these Wednesday conversations are getting better every single week, man. Learning so much. There's so much, involved in the ways that we can structure our deals and the way that we speak to the seller, all that. And I really just appreciate you guys. Alex, did you get anything out of that, my friend? Did anything kind of pop for you?
Yeah, I think that was a lot of really good nuggets, not really phrasing it as a personal thing, but blaming it on the bank, because everybody thinks the bank is the problem, so that was huge.
Yeah.
I got a lot of really good nuggets, so that was great,
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Chris, thanks for your input. Steve, thanks for you guys' input. Horace, does anybody have another scenario that you want to run by, maybe do a role play on? Anything, any challenges that you've seen in the marketplace? Okay, so I have one that I want to run by you, and you guys can all kind of chime in and see what you think. Okay, so there's this property. The property itself needs some work, but the property, because of its location being next to a number of sober living, matter of fact, there's a sober living facility across the street, and there's a few other sober living houses. Needless to say, it's a C- neighborhood, right? It's a C-D neighborhood, but it's cash flowing about $6,000 a month because they're renting rooms. $6,000 a month. The challenge is who's going to finance it, because some of the income is, it's like this guy put up stuff in the garage. He put up walls and doors and separated some rooms, and these people love it. Like, he's providing a real service, because these people don't have any place else to live, right? It's either and they're paying, and they pay regularly. They pay $400 to $600 a month to rent each of these rooms. Now, the challenge is, how do you structure that other than cash out of your own pocket to purchase a property in that situation? Anybody have any ideas?
Is he selling a business? Is he selling a property?
He's selling just a house. It's not a business. The zoning allows for a business. So in other words, he's not breaking any laws in terms of zoning. He's not, using a residential property as a, hotel labeled property, anything like that. So he's fine as far as that's concerned. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What do you want to do? You want to just flip it?
Not sure. I might just cash flow it and provide the service.
How much
is he willing to take terms, Victor?
Yeah, definitely willing to take terms. I can probably look at doing a investor money for 200,000 on it. It's worth about 340 for
Okay.
200,000, and you know, do a silent carry back for another 50 and put about 10 in of my own money.
So does he need to be cashed out of that anytime soon? What kind of time frame are you looking at?
Looking at about 6 months.
Okay.
In 6
So
months, I can do some work on it and you know, turn it into a whole nother situation.
So just real quick and dirty, I haven't looked at it, but
Hey,
it just sounds like.
by the way, Michael, thanks for being here, buddy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I've just been listening for the last 20 minutes or so. This is great stuff. Great stuff. But just from a quick 30,000 view based on what you said, I think that there's probably enough equity, you know, to do a BRRRR almost. What you would do in that situation is you would do like a master lease. You would create an LLC and master lease with that LLC, right? And now you have a tenant, and now a bank will allow you to do a cash out refinance in that situation. Because everybody individually renting rooms, they aren't going to take it. They don't like it. They don't. Banks do not allow it. Don't like it. Short-term rental business is not something they agree on. But if you have an LLC that has signed, you know, a long-term lease, let's say like a 12-month lease or whatever, and let's say they agree to pay $3,000 a month, whatever you want to come up with, you're going to be the owner of the LLC.
Right.
But if you do it that way, you'll be able to pull out probably all of your cash and get this $6,000 a month cash flow for sure. So that's what I would recommend. You know, you've got plenty of time to do that.
Yeah.
6 months, you know, and especially if you get in with a local small community bank or credit union, a lot of those don't require seasoning, or maybe just like a 3-month seasoning.
Right.
So that would be my advice.
So you would take out a loan as an entity?
So how I would do it, okay, is like if I came across this particular deal, I would go to the lender, and I would say, hey, I have this property, it's worth 340, 350, and you know, you've got it under contract for 200, right? You're going to buy it for 200. You've got 6 months. Okay. So you've got what, $80,000 of equity in there?
Yep.
Okay. That's more than likely going to be enough. I think you're at 75%.
Yeah. I'm definitely under the threshold.
Okay. 75% right there. And you should be able to do that cash out refinance because you'll be the owner. Now, yeah, you could buy it in your personal name, but I would prefer you buy it in an LLC.
Right.
You know, of course. But you would have one LLC rent from another LLC.
Got it.
That's basically how you would set it up. Now, that's if this bank will allow that.
Right.
Sometimes they won't. You know, it just depends on how you would play that. But
yeah, but I see the structure. I see where you're going with that, and that's at least it's worth me doing the research and making some calls and see if in fact there's somebody who is willing to lend, you know, on an entity in that fashion, and then it can kind of, you know, allow me to see what my structure needs to be.
Yeah, as long as you have the master lease in place with an LLC you've created, or you know, that's the key.
Yeah.
And I learned that, I think it was Brian Page or something, I can't remember who it was. Was talking about how they were doing cash out refinances on Airbnbs. And it's because they were doing the master lease with an LLC and then doing it.
That would make sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Thanks, Michael. That really kind of changes my paradigm a little bit, because I was trying to figure out how to fit those two pieces together. And like you said, the master lease is the key, right? The entity having the master lease is the key to this.
Correct.
Yeah, I
So
totally see that.
Yeah, so I would just have a couple conversations with the most competitive banks and see
Yeah.
who's willing to play ball on that for sure.
Nice.
That
Nice.
sounds like a great pickup, man. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because the cash flow is solid. It's there all day long. In fact, there's even an opportunity to increase the cash flow by another $1,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Love it.
Is there any
It's sweet.
existing financing on this property available?
I'm sorry?
Is there any existing financing?
Yeah, there's some existing financing of about 100,000.
And what are the terms on that? Do you know?
They're low. They're at about 4.25%, 4.25%, 30-year fixed. We're gonna, yeah.
I don't like going to banks. I like.
Yeah, I
private
mean,
banks.
ideally not, but you know, like I said, you know, I'm basically just trying to, you know, acquire that cash flow.
Is the zoning on this for a rooming house?
Yeah, the zoning is, what did they call it? For all intents and purposes, you can pretty much put anything there from a store to a hotel to a house. It's that kind of zoning. Yeah, because of their location. So that was the first thing I checked on to make sure that I wouldn't get shut down if it did get caught.
Does he want all that money now, or is he willing to wait?
I'm sorry?
Does he want all his money now, or is he willing to wait?
He's willing to wait. He's willing to wait. Yeah, I'm gonna do a silent second on it after everything is done.
I could draw different scenarios with this, but go ahead.
Yeah. So Victor, you got that at $200,000. What you're saying, you got it at 200. He's agreed to the 200, and you said there's 100,000 owed on it. How much money does he want to close on it right now? Does he need like 10, 15, 20,000? How much does he need right now to close on?
Well, it's going to be a cash to new loan, so you know he's going to get all of his money out the new financing. So he's going to be fine with the 100,000.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you give him $100,000 in cash, then you could potentially do a subject to that.
If I gave him 100,000 in cash, all it would do is pay off the existing mortgage. Well, I mean, I guess he could continue to pay on the existing mortgage and keep the difference. But right. You know, I don't have 100,000, and I don't know. I mean, I could structure it that way, but then I would have to find an investor. What are you thinking in terms of that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just, I mean, $6,000 a month's a lot of cash, you know, on $100,000. So just keep the existing, like Steve was saying, man, keep the existing loan.
He doesn't want to keep the existing loan. Like the situation is that they bought it together as two brothers bought it together, and one brother doesn't want anything else to do with the loan. And the loan is in his name, so he can't keep the loan. It's not an option.
Yeah.
Okay. You're paying $340 for the house?
No, that's how much it's worth.
How much you paying?
200.
I'm paying $260, but I'm paying $200. You know, I'm paying $200 up front, and he's carrying back a second that we're going to record after the fact for another
$200,000 in private money, and his $60,000. Give him a 5-year balloon with no payments, no interest, and let him wait. Go raise your $200,000.
Yeah, I propose that he wants payments though.
All right, so make payments to him.
Yeah.
Make it ridiculous. Make it principal payments for the first year or 2 years, and then move the interest rate up. So appeal to his greed glands.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
And I take the 200,000. Either get one guy for the $200,000, or I even chop it up. You can, if it's a commercial transaction, you got professional guys coming in the doorway. Fractionalize the first mortgage. I do that all the time.
Nice. Okay. See, I knew I brought it to the right place. I knew you guys would throw ideas out there that I could use. Hey, I appreciate you guys.
Getting off of here now because there's a spy online, so I just see this guy just shook up. So.
Yeah, I see Claude and Felipe snuck up in here too. Hey, Felipe, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Claude.
I was like, oh my God, this is so much golden nuggets, like right at the same time, like just like coming at me. I'm like, holy shit, why am I not taking furious notes here? But good thing it's gonna get recorded. I mean, this is amazing. Oh my God, we have We have our, yeah. You mind if I take some notes? Because this sounds very important. This sounds very, very important.
Y'all gotta have your notes. Hey, Claude.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Merry Christmas. Can we say that?
So I saw you on all the announcements for the LA Investors Club.
Yes, I'm speaking tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
What is that? 8 p.m. Mountain.
Well, 10 p.m.
9
Eastern,
Central, and
9 Central, and
10 to Eastern time. Oh my gosh. Did you ever get your wife give you a jar to open up and it's killing you? Oh my gosh.
Hit the bottom. Hit the bottom. Stop. Let the pressure out.
I need some mentoring here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing?
Pop the bottom so that the pressure comes out.
Oh, is that how it is?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
God, we talk about everything on this in this Zoom room, don't we? Good. How's everybody's business? There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here you go, dear. It's brats and sauerkraut night.
Oh, way to go. Way to go. Hi, Claudia.
Beautiful.
Hi, everybody.
How are you, sweetie?
Merry Christmas. Happy
Merry
Hanukkah.
Christmas.
Same to you.
Starts tomorrow. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. Like that menorah.
Happy Hanukkah. Yeah. So is that going to be? Is the revolution going to be televised? Do we have access?
I think you have to go into the link and sign up for the club or something like that. It's conducted by Bill Tan. A little history. Bill Tan started the San Diego Creative Investors Association. It's the largest real estate club in the United States. It's huge. Last night they had Bruce Norris on talking about basically giving all the stats about the future of real estate for 2000. Interesting guy. He's a statistician, and he was on for about 2 hours last night. You never stop learning. Nobody has a monopoly. I'm always listening to other people who are smarter than me or are doing research in specific areas. I'm on YouTube every day. I read the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times every day. Not that they're always right or anything like that, but all this info. You want to get a little yin and yang information. So they invited me. They've been to LA on Zoom, of course. And then in February, I'm also speaking at the San Diego Creative Investors Association. Why do I do public speaking? Just talk about marketing for a minute. Why is public speaking?
Attraction marketing.
It's attraction mark. Can I share a secret with you guys? We're not recording this, are we?
Yes.
Oh, no. Every time I speak in front of an audience, it can be 1,000 people. It can be 2 nuns and a Boy Scout. The next day, I get emails, people to my webpage. I get phone calls. I get appointments. I get deals. Public speaking is one of the most underrated marketing tools you can do. Is it difficult? Yes. What's the greatest fear of all mankind?
Public speaking.
Yeah, it's tough. To be perfectly transparent, it was very hard for me. Today, it's a piece of cake. But in the beginning, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to stand in front of these people and do all this. You got to learn to relax. That's all you got to do. And you prepare a little outline, and and people love it. They interact, and you get so much business. I will speak tonight, and I'll tell you what, tomorrow there'll be so many emails and people with deals and product sales and consultations just from that 45-60-minute presentation. So is everybody here familiar with meetup.com?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful webpage, and you can find all the local real estate clubs and meetings. And, this is the only benefit I see from this pandemic. I don't have to get in my car anymore. I can sit at home, have an adult libation, if you know what I mean. Yep. And, and I can participate or listen, and you can attend a lot more meetings from home on Zoom.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
And most of this stuff is free that's out there. So it's good marketing, and it's also a great way to get good information, because we're in a changing business. We're in a real changing business. I'm going to be doing, in a week or two, I'm going to do Claude Predicts on our Monday group call. When I was way off this year, I didn't see a pandemic coming. Sorry, I'm not Nostradamus. I did not see that coming.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could talk about, your thoughts on the housing market and what do you think that some of this stuff is going on, the change of leadership in the country and how that's going to affect everything.
Yeah. We're gonna see some changes.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have a different administration in, not getting political.
Right.
We're probably gonna see more social programs. We're probably gonna see more taxes. Okay, which
Probably.
is say again, Steve.
Probably.
Yeah. It's going to come down to the Georgia election. A lot of what's going to happen. The Georgia election is the thing to watch.
Yeah.
That's going to tell you how much things are going to change, but how much they're going to change is
all right.
what's going to let you know. Real estate to me, it's the one thing that really threw me this year is that real estate would go up so high in value in certain markets.
Yeah. That's a trip.
It really is. I mean, in California, a starting condo can run 750, 800,000 now starting.
Yep.
Okay. $100,000 will, as I always say, will buy you a box without a view behind the Walmart, a cardboard box.
Yeah.
People are moving. We're seeing a lot of transitions. People are moving to Florida, to Colorado, I have friends who are moving to Montana and Idaho now, who are living in LA and New York City and in Chicago. So we're seeing there's a cultural shift going on right now. That's very interesting. That'll play, I think, continue to play very strongly in real estate values in 2021. Interest rates are so low. You guys don't have a clue, man. When I was wet behind the ears, we were talking 14, 15. Steve knows what I'm talking about. Remember 14, 15% mortgage rates, Steve?
Remember 18, 19%.
Exactly. When I got out the Air Force in 82, they were hovering around 18, 19.
Wow.
I was not even born.
It was cheaper to use your credit cards than to go to get a mortgage.
Get a mortgage. That's right.
And so today, what's the mortgage rates today? 3%, 3.5%?
2% in some cases.
2% if you got really good credit and everything like that. I mean, that's free money, far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So I still think real estate is the best business in the world. I've never lost money on a real estate property that I held on long enough to.
Yeah. That's the key, right?
Everybody, it's like food, water, air. Everybody needs a place to live. It's a necessity of life. And if you can get into this real estate business through either creative real estate or you have the funding, the credit and everything or you can put in sweat equity and you got the good homes in good neighborhoods. And I have always used rent to owns to get quality tenants and make more money. On a long-term basis, you will have financial security.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't have to be a genius. You just have to do one property at a time, slowly in the right location. Right now, I'm Florida. Felipe's got to give it. Everybody I'm talking, what's going on? Everybody is moving to Florida.
It's the housing market. It's crazy. Like days on the market are super low. I mean, you have two types of properties. You have single family homes and then you have condos. Condos have been a little slow still because here in Florida, the HOAs are, it's really tight with them. But on the single family home, it's just, it's crazy. People are taking advantage of the low rates. Houses that they were, a cardboard box behind a Walmart, now they're worth, 600,000-700,000. They're crazy. That's just crazy. I mean, this is, we're gonna see that shift this year because even though if we have more social programs, it's still not. It's bound to end. The foreclosures, the halt on evictions. At some point, that's gonna have to be lifted. And that's when we're going to have a second bubble bursting, not as bad as 2008, but there's going to be a correction. That's for sure.
There's always a correction. I only know two things about real estate. It goes up and it goes down. And I wish I knew exactly when.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Beautiful.
And there's always clues. before it, you know, when the stock market is going to crash, when your Uber driver is giving you expert advice on what stocks to buy. That's just about a month before it's going to crash. Same thing in real estate. There's always clues. That's why you gotta, when I was speaking about earlier, you gotta stay on top of the information, but don't just listen to people on the left or right or up or down. Get a variety of information from people who have the right to give it to you, because everyone's got an opinion. Okay, but take advice from people who have the background and the certification to give those opinions. You know, my mentor used to always say, always consider the source of the advice you're taking.
Yeah, every single time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Felipe, Florida is one of the places to look at right now, isn't it? It's also, my understanding is it's a very friendly government, tax-wise, and starting businesses in Florida right now. It's a very liberal, it's conservatively based, but very liberal on applications and funding and things like that.
Yeah, no state income tax. So that's, you know, that's a little bit of a relief there. So, and I mean, there's many cities in Florida where you can do real estate. It's not just, you know, like concentrated in one big market. You have, you know, Orlando, Tampa, even Central Florida. They're doing great. I know people that are doing great, doing a lot of business there.
Jacksonville, and I've always heard good things about Gainesville.
Yes, because it's a college city. There's a lot of, you know, like a lot of demand for just like in the last role play, Victor, like sober living facilities here in Miami-Dade. It's turning into a big thing.
Yeah,
it's turning. I'm even considering one myself that we're gonna have the owner carry, because it's like the perfect combination. You know, you have properties in neighborhoods where they've done a bunch of additions, and you have efficiencies, and then you have, you know how it is, Miami, you know, like people in Florida here, they like to party till 5 a.m, and that brings, you know, one thing leads to another, and then they need to go to rehab. So that's why.
That's fantastic. It's a demand.
So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, and so yeah, it's a great business to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think in some ways, because I was looking at that, you know, I'm getting ready. I just made a couple of offers on a couple of laundromats, so I'm kind of moving into that business.
Interesting.
And then also there's the assisted living, right? But you know, the assisted living thing is like, let's not go medical on that, because that's when I really had to draw the line when I was doing all my research. And once you get to where you're giving them medicines and stuff, it's a whole different program, more than I want to be involved in.
Right. That's why, you know, like, it's just like when you're thinking residential or commercial real estate, like here, for example, in Florida, one thing that it's very popular, it's assisted living, because it's up to a certain amount of beds. I think it's 6 beds. You need to have what is called a caretaker, which is, you know, it doesn't need to be a registered nurse or somebody giving them
just somebody there full time to administer and make sure that they handle the needs of the client.
Yeah. I've done 2 of them.
You got 2?
You can play a lot of bingo.
I've done 2 of them, but I came in the door, I set the business up, I got it all legal, and I turned it over under a master lease.
Nice.
I did that.
Nice.
And thanks for someone training me and going down and recording. I never bought the property. I just leased it, right?
Yeah.
Turned it around, and the guy behind me that I leased the property to wanted to go around me and went to the owner of the property to buy it. And so I thought the owner of the property was AWOL. She was living in Jamaica, the island. This guy hired an investigator to go find her. She calls me and she says, "Hey, I'm selling the property." I go, "Hey, that's great. You got to include me in the deal. I'm in the middle of all this." So make a long story short, I got a nice payday out of it.
Nice.
And this guy bought it, and now it's sitting there empty. He can't get the people in there to work it.
Yeah, because you either know how to run that business or you don't.
Well, I went for the licensing arm. Well, you go down in the state of Florida, you go down and you get an administrative license. Not a license. You go down and you're instructed as an administrator. I went down. If you're going to run all of these, if you're going to even think about just investing in one, spend the 3 days in whatever state it is. Florida is probably one of the toughest in the country, but they're fair. All right. It's a fair place to do business. I went down and I took the administrative license. I did the administrative course, got the permit. I had to take the damn test twice to get the friggin' thing. But I was the only guy there, and I was surrounded by kids that are all like in their 20s and 30s. So
those kids,
those damn kids,
damn kids.
I took it, but it helped me to structure hiring people, putting the place together. Yeah. So I mean, it all worked. It all worked.
Yeah. And there's a couple of trainers out there that are pretty good at it.
I would not want to run one of these places.
Nope.
Too much liability.
Nope.
But an assisted living is a lot different than a nursing home.
Yep.
There's a big stretch. You're only assisting people in their regular day-to-day type care.
Yeah, it's in the name.
What about nursing homes? Whoa, whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
But with this COVID going on around, that's why you see places closing, because their liability side of it is just through the roof. A lot of these places can't even get insurance anymore.
Yeah.
So,
So the key especially to what Steve was just mentioning is that you don't even have to own the properties to get the cash flow. You can lease the properties and create the cash flow, which is what makes it really super attractive. But you got to make sure you put the right people in there with the right experience and that can especially do the marketing and fill the house. Because other than that, it's you're dead in the water.
What I did with both of my deals were these places needed generators installed, and in order even to get someone to even start looking at the property to get the permits and all like we've done. So we got those all installed. It was a $20,000 check for each one of those, for both of them, right? For each one of them. But to bring them, and then all I did was I marketed the business, what you could make and what you could do. Did a pro forma, which is make believe, but whatever. This is what, so you're selling smoke.
Yeah.
Right? Blue sky, they call it in some industries, But I brought this guy in and I put in there. He gave me money up front for the blue sky, and then I doubled the rent. So I rented it really, really, really cheap. It was a great cash flow deal.
Yeah.
My net rent was $5,000, and I was renting it out for $10,250 a month plus the sales tax. So we were
How do you sleep at night?
You guys are all a bunch of bottom feeders.
Oh, he was sleeping on his expensive pillows that he bought.
On a Tempur-Pedic, what is his name of
the pillow guy?
Sleep Number.
The Sleep Number.
Victor, you mentioned something very interesting. Steve, thanks. That was interesting. Victor, you mentioned something about laundromats. So I have a friend who's a laundromat millionaire.
Is that right?
All those little quarters, they add up, man.
They add up like crazy, and I've kind of been learning a negotiating tactic that basically gets you into it for free. Yeah, you position yourself and the laundromat in such a way, and it's quite unique. And so I've been having phone calls and stuff. I've been gutsing people to death. Yeah, absolutely.
I love any business that I can work from home, where I don't have to deal with people problems.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to be a bill collector. I don't want to be a maintenance man. I don't want to practice. I don't want to be a lawyer doing evictions.
Right.
It's one of the reasons I went to law school, because I was tired of paying shyster attorneys all the time.
I do know.
That's the one thing I love about this business. I can work from home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need 30 employees. I can just make offers, and sooner or later someone will say yes if I make enough offers to the right people the right way, whether it's residential real estate or any of the different techniques you guys talk about.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, there's somebody out there who will say yes if you make that connection with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's great.
All right, you guys. I've got an appointment here that was about 3 minutes ago, so I need to jump off and talk to someone. And I just cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys. Today was amazing again. Claude, thanks for jumping in here. Felipe, Michael, everybody who's involved here. Let me just do a quick roll call. Let's see. Obviously, Claude, Philip, Nathan, Steve, Michael, Alus, Aaron, Brett, Curtis Smith, Hervik, Philip on his iPhone, Johnny Bilal, Luke Quinall, Mary, Michael Goolsby, my man, Moises, Chris, Mr. Cash Offer, Stephen Lundy, Vernon, and Wei Lin. I cannot thank you guys enough for being here. We'll be here again next Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. And,
Awesome.
Thanks to you for doing this all the time. You're a good round of applause here, Mr. Walker.
There you
Thank
go.
you guys, I appreciate it. I
Thank
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
thanks.
Victor, and everyone.
I will see you guys next week, okay?
All right, Victor.
All right, take care now.
Everybody have a
Bye-bye.
good one. Take care.
Thank you. Merry
You're welcome.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.